You know, the general public is relatively clueless about what makes a good builder, but there is one thing that even the most uneducated person, the uncaring, the uninformed, knows about judging a good builder from another, and that's cleanliness and organization. On the Build Show today, I'm actually going to walk you through this project behind me. We're going to talk to you about a few things that we do on the job site. Maybe it'll help you on your builds. And if you're interviewing builders, this may also give you a few things to look for a good builder. So first off, we're at a job site here that is a whole house remodel project, but believe it or not, this is a new build. And one of the first things you're going to see when you first walk up to a job site is this right here, the construction fence. I'm a big fan of putting construction fences up with a lockable gate, and you want to put that green screen on there so there's a little bit of privacy from the neighbors. It just hides what's going on in construction. The other thing you're going to notice right away on all my job sites is we're going to put some signage up. Now this is a job that's a relatively short job because we started after construction already began. There's my company logo. We're going to put the architect, the interior designer, in this case we have an owner's rep. They're going to be labeled there as well. The next thing you're going to notice over here is we've got some really nice bull rock down, so the trucks driving up here are going to be able to make sure they're not in the mud. Now in this case, we've run it all the way up on this job. We've got a couple of our trucks parked here. We've got two guys working over here that are doing job site organization, cleanliness, a little bit of everything for us. The other thing you're going to notice is this mulch right here. Now this isn't standard mulch like you'd see around, let's say, a tree over here. This is the really thick mulch like the guys get when they're putting a chipper in the yard just to get all your yard clippings out. You want that because the water is not going to wash this big mulch away. Now in this area where we've got tree protection, you really want a big fence, a ring around all those big trees, those trees that are your trophy trees. Now in my case, the city makes me do this, but even if they don't, you want to do it. It's going to show your clients that you're really taking care of your trees. Now in that case, you want to use the finer mulch, and you also want to layer it up several inches, like 6 or maybe even more inches, so that you've got some compaction. Those roots are not getting compacted, because what happens on construction is if you're driving right up to that tree, people are walking, bobcats are going through it, you're compacting those roots, and that's really bad for the tree. So by putting the fence around and keeping people away, giving 6 inches of mulch, it's going to give some leeway. Now, as I mentioned on this job is actually one that we took over. So another builder was building this. It was for sale as a speculative house. My clients bought it and said, you know, I don't love everything about this house and I have some concerns about the construction. So we took this over just at the drywall phase. We've only really been on this job for maybe 2 months or so. We ripped the entire facade off the house because there were some waterproofing issues that we found. Check out my other videos. I'll put a link in the description there. But what you're noticing here is we've gone to Alumaflash on the whole outside of the house. There's some remnants of the previous house wrap was there. That's another thing that I really like seeing on these peel and sticks is there's nothing flapping in the breeze. These are in really, really solid condition to make the house look really good. Now we do see some job site organization going on our jobs, but generally speaking, we don't have big piles of trash. We sometimes use a dumpster like we've got here. At other times, we're going to be using a smaller 4x4 pen. I like those as well, especially on smaller jobs or remodel jobs, where you basically take 4 sheets of OSB, you make a pen with that, put 2 sheets down in the ground so that anything that's trash-wise in there is easy to scrape up, and then you can turn that in a door. It makes for really easy trash, and then you don't have that dumpster that other people can use and you're not sure what's in there. Let's take a break for a second. Let's go inside and we'll show you that. Okay, so the first thing you're going to notice right here is this old picnic table. Now you can see we've reused this. This has been around for a while, but I really like having a picnic table somewhere on the job site, which helps me contain all the trash. If I've got guys eating all over the house in random places where they might be able to sit down, it means I'm going to have trash everywhere. But in this case, I've got a trash can right around the corner. The guys can eat here, they can leave their lunch here, and I know everything's going to be contained. Now let's go inside and take a look at the inside. Now in this house, as I mentioned, this house is one that we took over. It was already well underway into construction. The drywall phase had already started, and we actually had to pull quite a bit of the sheetrock out. They used a not very good window package. They had a lot of flashing details that were suspect. We actually found, believe it or not, some rot on the OSB because of the waterproofing details in 1 or 2 spots. So we switched out everything in the house. We did a thorough inspection. So that's why it's a little wonky that you're seeing insulation here, but it's missing in a few spots as we kind of scroll around the house. That's what's going on here. And then we have some windows that are still on order that aren't totally here yet. Okay, next thing I wanted to point out is we really like making these job site electrical boxes. I actually have a guy on my crew who's a master electrician and makes them for us. This is actually one of our older versions. But you can see here, we've got plugs and breakers for everything. Everything's easily able to shut off here. This, where's the big feed right here. This is the big feed right here that's bringing the power into the panel. And then I've got all these breakers here ready to go, including a big one for the floor scraper later on when we get to do hardwood floors. Okay, a couple other things that you're gonna wanna notice on this house. We always want a job site organization bench on the inside of the house, a place that we can roll out plans, we can have a meeting with the guys on the job site. Nothing fancy in this case. We didn't reuse it. This is one we built just for the job. All right, so what's up with this pile of spaghetti back here? That's our insulated flex duct. We did not like the HVAC job that was in this house when we got here. It had several problems. We also added on a little bit to the house. On this phase, you can see we've got old concrete here, a new concrete here. So we're replacing that flex duct with some metal ducting. This is definitely the way to go. I'm a big fan of having all my trunk lines running hard metal or hard pipe. That way, I'm gonna have that nice smooth inside on there, and then I'm gonna insulate on the outside. So I've got no insulation, no fiberglass in the airstream whatsoever. Now I've got a couple carpenters staged in the garage working on some pocket doors for me here. Oh, looking good, Gilbert, looking good, buddy. I like it. These guys, interesting to see they're using a bunch of DeWalt cordless tools. That's kind of cool. We always have our job boxes staged in here as well, so guys can keep their tools nice and locked up. Let's go upstairs and we'll look at a couple things upstairs. Okay, whew, it's hot already. It's not even summertime yet in Austin. In this upper section, we remodeled a little bit to add this two-story portion here. The architects did a nice job of kind of remodeling an existing floor plan on this relatively new house. You can see we've got some Huber Advantech here. This is the original plywood that was put down by the previous builder. We're gonna walk this really carefully and make sure that we've taken care of any screw pops, any sound on the floor. So anytime we're walking through the house, you might see me doing this dance as I walk through the house. That's because I'm looking for squeaks. I'm looking to make sure there's no areas that are gonna cause problems later. Again, some more of the spaghetti from this upper story. And we pointed this out in a previous video, but I thought I'd show you real quick. Here's our conditioned attic that was open cell spray foam by the previous contractor. And check this out. This before was an outdoor porch area, and that previous contractor had put up OSB as a spray foam backer here, but look at this. Everywhere there's a rafter sticking through the framing, you can see there's that pinhole right there. Hopefully you're seeing it on my camera right there. As a result, all those little holes for that spray foam that it didn't seal very well meant that this house maybe met code for air sealing in terms of blower door testing, but it sure was not a very tight house. So that's one thing you always want to be looking for on these remodel projects is how can I tighten up the air on the inside of the house. Guys, I think that's really all I've got for you today. I wanted to walk through, show you a few things that we do when it comes to job site organization, keeping your jobs clean, and I wanted this to be a reminder to look at your jobs when you walk them later today with the eyes of a client. You know, clients don't have any clue when it comes to the details, the waterproofing, all those things that we care about as builders and building a great house. They're thinking about what are the finishes going to look like. But when they walk a stage, or when they walk a house rather in this stage, they're thinking how clean, how organized is this builder? They don't know about insulation, they don't know about air sealing, but they sure know about organization and cleanliness. Sweep your jobs on Friday and make sure they're clean on the weekends because jobs get walked all the time over the weekends, either by your clients or a prospect who's checking you out. And also have all of your job site signage up. You want to make sure you clearly identify that it's you building that house at the front. And I didn't show it, I'll lace a photo in, but make sure your job rules are visible as well. We try and put ours in several locations through the house as well. Guys, hopefully you learned something by walking the job with me today. If you're not already a Build Show subscriber, hit that subscribe button. We've got new content every Tuesday and every Friday. Otherwise, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We'll see you next time on The Build Show.